What is the IUD?
When people talk about having sex, they sometimes mean putting a penis into someone else's vagina. This kind of sex can lead to pregnancy. But some people like having sex because it feels good, and they don't want to become pregnant. Using contraception can help prevent pregnancy while you're having sex. Some people call contraception birth control. Pregnancy happens when a sperm meets an egg, and birth control stops that from happening. The IUD is a form of contraception. It's a tiny little device that a doctor or a nurse inserts into the uterus by way of the vagina. This is done at a medical clinic. So there's two kinds of IUDs, the copper and the hormonal, and they each work a bit differently. The copper IUD uses copper to prevent sperm from living inside the uterus, and the hormonal IUD keeps eggs from leaving the ovaries so that they'll never meet a sperm inside the uterus. The IUD can stay in the uterus for many years and be taken out by a doctor or a nurse at a clinic when someone decides they don't want it anymore. Some people like the IUD because it's very effective compared to other birth control methods. Once it's inserted, people don't need to remember a birth control schedule like taking a pill every day. They might like it because it's very private, because you won't have packages lying around, and because it can stay inside for up to 5 years or more. Copper IUDs aren't as expensive, they can be under $100, and because they have no hormones in them, which some folks like. Some people don't like IUDs because it can be uncomfortable and painful to get them inserted or removed, because copper IUDs can make periods heavier and cramps heavier, and because hormonal IUDs can be quite expensive, up to $500. Here's what some folks are saying about the IUD.
When I used the copper IUD, I got it from my family doctor. When I was taking that method, I didn't worry about pregnancy. I didn't worry if my timing was off. I didn't worry if I had forgotten something. It was really nice to just kind of have it there and sort of forget about any unplanned pregnancies or any worries in that regard. With the copper IUD, I had really horrible periods. My periods were like really heavy and I had a lot of cramping, and around the first day of every month sometimes I would faint because the pain was so bad. That was really challenging. I did use it for close to 4 years, so the pros outweighed the cons, but it definitely made it not the perfect method for me. I always felt very well supported by my family doctor, which was nice, and I felt like I was able to kind of advocate that the options weren't really working for me, and they were able to switch to different things that did work better.
I knew right away that the pill's not gonna work for me, just because I can't even take like medication that I'm supposed to take daily. So I thought that an IUD is something that's kind of, it's not permanent, but it's like more like stuck inside of you. And so I told my family doc that. He said I could go copper or I could go hormonal. I decided to go hormonal because I was told at the time that it would stop my period, and that was like a big draw for me as someone who's non-binary, just because it felt gender like affirming to not have a period. Since then, it's just kind of been smooth sailing, haven't really thought about it much. The insertion is supposed to be pretty uncomfortable. I had no problems whatsoever. I think it's just kind of on a person-to-person basis and what works for your body and advocating what works for your body.
Everyone's experience is different. Just because someone liked their IUD doesn't mean that you will. Just because someone didn't like their IUD doesn't mean that you won't. And side effects are different for every person. IUDs are great at preventing pregnancy, but they don't protect against sexually transmitted infections. Only condoms protect against STIs, which is why some folks choose to both use IUDs and condoms while they're having sex. It can protect against pregnancy and STIs together. Ask your doctor if you're curious about IUDs.